Good evening everybody, it's that time again. Can't believe it's been already another week and it's week 7. Can you believe week 7? Week 7 for the practical live cooking. So I think we've had a blast the last couple of weeks, doing some really cool stuff. I've had a lot of pictures, a lot of questions from people, and they've shown me some really great stuff that they've all been doing. So this week we're going to go into, I think, probably one dish that a lot of people know of, and it's a pork katsu curry. And it took me a while to get to like this when we had tried it in other restaurants, but my wife loves it and a lot of people I know like it as well. So I thought, well, it's a nice one to do, to create and to make. So we'll get started with that shortly. A little bit of information about it. It wasn't until I think it was the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s that this recipe was kind of discovered and introduced into in Japan. And tonkatsu basically means just a breaded pork cutlet, or we use steaks, served over rice with a thick spiced sauce. It's quite simple. And this sauce has got so much flavour for only what is a very few simple ingredients. And it's just very easy, and I think it works well with quite a few other things as well, and you can easily do it and replicate it in any way you want and put it with quite a few different things. So last week I had a couple of issues with my beef pancake video, so it's taking a little bit to upload. I was told today by my media team that it will be should be up this week. Hopefully today, all being well with the internet providers. So thanks very much, and thank you for going there and checking it out and viewing it. Please as well, I know I'll plug it, but go subscribe, get your friends to subscribe. It was great to do it, and I really enjoy it. So what we'll do is, if you haven't done already, I'm using my rice cooker and cooking my sushi rice. If you're using any other rice, if you haven't got it already on, or you're cooking in a saucepan, get it on now, and use whatever rice you want. It's absolutely fine. I'm using this because you just get a perfect result. If you do get yourself a rice cooker, you can get a really nice cheap one, about 20 quid, and from Amazon or even Asda or Argos are really good. And if you want to do sushi rice, I really recommend this brand. Haruka rice is so nice, and you can use it for so many other things, you know, if you want to try doing sushi at some point. So we'll have a little look at what we got on the board first. So I got my pork steaks. If you're doing vegetarian option, I think we said a sweet potato or cauliflower. If you're doing that, I would recommend that you just cook the sweet potato in boiling water. You can do that at the beginning, and then just take it out. We're just going to cook for about 3 minutes. Cut it about 2 centimeters thick, 1 centimeter thick. Boil it for 3 minutes in boiling salted water. Take it out, leave it on the side to cool gently or in the fridge. And then when we get to the pork parts of the katsu curry, you can basically carry on from that point. So, what we'll do first is, so I've got some onions, some carrots, some garlic and ginger, coconut milk. You'll need a little bit of water, about 100 ml as well. Honey. In here I've got turmeric and mild curry powder. You can use hotter curry powders if you like it spicier, or chuck in some dried chilies or some fresh chilies. It's completely up to you. I've got some white sesame seeds. I've also got some black sesame seeds. I'm going to toast the white ones off later, and they're going to go through the rice. It gives it really lovely flavour, and it's really nice. And then the final ingredient is the Panko Breadcrumbs, which is, I feel is kind of a must for this kind of dish, because the regular golden breadcrumbs you get from the supermarket are awful, and this is really nice. And in the panko in Japan is made in such a special way. They put electric currents through it, and that's how they get all this. It makes it look like it's almost like shards. It looks incredible. So we'll get started with this now. So what you want to do first, you want to take 2 onions, and we're basically going to dice them and cut them down. Just going to grab a little container from my cupboard, put my rubbish in. All prepared apart from that. So, with your onions, all I've done is peeled. I'm going to cut them in half. You don't want this little rooty bit, so you're just going to cut like so on the angle, and just remove that root there. It's not very nice to eat. It's horrible. So I always remove it. It's inedible. So It always take it out. Okay, and with these, just going to cut it down. And just going to cut them like so. Okay, don't worry, I don't have to be precise.
And this is for the sauce, which would be the same for the vegetarian and the meat?
Yes, yeah. There is, you can actually as well make it vegan if you wanted to. You could just substitute the honey for maple syrup, and that makes it vegan. It's not got any butter or cream in it. It's got coconut milk in it, but that's vegan anyway. So there we go. So that's basically your carrots already done in smaller dice.
Onion.
Sorry.
Onion.
That's a carrot?
Yeah.
I was thinking about carrots next. So, carrots next. I've just peeled them, top and tailed them. Okay, so I'm just going to cut them in half. And then each half into 3. And they're roughly similar size to the onion. Right, lovely. Doing some little changes with my camera angles today, so I don't have to move cameras around. Emily's got to be a little bit more involved and hand me the camera around. Okay. Okay, there you go. That's the first one done. The second one. As always, like every week, if you have any questions, by all means, throw them around. I'll answer as best I can, and my wonderful in-house media team will provide me with the questions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon or so, into a saucepan. I'm going to put that on to cook. I'm going to get that nice and warm. Once that's hot, we're going to put the onions and the carrots. Okay, nice and simple. So like, yeah, this is such a nice, easy recipe. When I was looking up about recipes and for how to find it, when I came across this one, which I then adapted, I thought, wow, for such a lovely curry, such a lovely flavour, it's actually very, very easy. You know, and it's not too heavy on spice. I mean, this is quite a simplified version of one.
Somebody asks, is it possible to use something else instead of carrots?
You need something sweet, a sweet vegetable, in order to do it, because that's what gives it that lovely flavour. You could try with parsnip, but you'll just need to add a little bit more water to it because parsnip makes it quite thick. That's quite a sweet vegetable. Parsley root would work quite well. They're even sweeter than that. Thing is with carrots is that they break down very nicely in a mush, or sweet potato. Actually, try doing it with sweet potato. That could work quite well.
What kind of oil as well?
I just use vegetable oil. You can use sunflower. I don't like to cook in olive oil because it's a lot more expensive, and I would sooner use a olive oil for a dressing or for finishing salads. I don't like to cook with it. Okay, so while that's getting warm, we're just going to take the garlic. So peel your garlic if you haven't done already, and we're just going to slice that as thinly as you can.
How many carrots was it?
I used 2 onions, 2 carrots, 2 cloves of garlic, and then about 1 inch of ginger.
Do you have any hints to stop the onions making someone cry?
Dan Filan is having problems.
Basically, it's not cutting through the root is a big way of avoiding it. I mean, you could if you don't mind looking ridiculous, you could put goggles on if you really want to. So your oil should be nice and warm now. You're going to put all your carrots and your onions in there. Okay, you want to get this up quite high, and you really want to let this cook because this is where you're going to get quite a lot of the flavour from. Okay, nice and easy. With the garlic, so you should have sliced it if you haven't done already, and then the ginger. If you didn't remember, we said before we did the yakisoba, you're just going to cut it down and slice it into little pieces like this, and then you're going to make little batons like so. Okay. If you really want to, you can use a grater and grate it. Okay, but I won't today. So they're now got nice little batons. Lovely. So basically what we're going to do is we want this to start to caramelise. So make sure that heat's on nice and high. I've got my chilli and my garlic and my ginger in my little pot here. Okay. So just a little recap. You've diced your onions, you've diced your carrots. Gonna get them in the pan, get them cooking in the oil. Yeah, start getting them really hot. There goes the carrot.
Do we want colour on the onion and carrot?
Yes, you do. You want to start it to begin caramelising because that's what's going to give that slightly sweety, ever so slightly bittery flavour, which is where it comes from. Okay. So you've got your carrots and onions in. Chili, for goodness sake, garlic and ginger in, and then you can get yourself ready a little bit of a tablespoon of mild curry powder or hot curry powder or any curry powder, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. It's really important you only use a little bit of turmeric because I don't massively like the flavour of it. It can be very strong, so I try not to use too much. A half teaspoon really is plenty. Okay, here we go, this is coming nicely. That's just what we want, starting to work now. We get that sweating off. So what we'll do in the meantime is if you've got a small frying pan, yeah, we're going to put that onto full and we're going to toast the sesame seeds. I should have some, if you've got white sesame seeds just here, I'm going to toast them. I've got some lovely black ones as well, which that's absolutely lovely. I'm going to toast some of these off and I'm going to use these for later, putting in the rice, and you'll see it's really lovely. So,
Dan Filan would like you to recap on how much curry powder.
So curry powder, you want 1 tablespoon of mild curry powder and half a teaspoon of turmeric. Okay, so 1 tablespoon of curry powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and that's the way you want. Okay. If you've got your pork steaks on, what you can do now, if you've got your pork steaks, I did this a bit earlier, you can season them up. Nice bit of salt and pepper. I've got some Maldon salt which I've used. You don't have to if you haven't got it. Nicely seasoned, and it will start to just bring out that lovely flavour of the pork and let those juices come through, and that's just really what you want. Okay. You also, what you want as well is, I've got here, you want a cooling rack that fits in a tray. And I'll come to the reason why you want this a bit later, but we're going to put the oven on in a minute, and you're going to want that for the pork for later. I realised that when I did a little practice run of this, I wasn't completely happy with it, and I think this way should rectify the issue that I had. Okay, I don't want to deep fry it, but I want to do this instead. So, if you were toasting the sesame seeds now, got a nice warm frying pan, I'm going to put the white sesame seeds in the little bowl. And you're just going to keep them moving. You don't want them to stay still, otherwise they'll burn. You want to keep them moving just nice and neatly. Okay. Black sesame seeds. Spoon.
Ben Filan asks how many seeds?
Tablespoon. As many you want. About that many. I mean, I know that, obviously, I know some of my friends have already gone back to work, and I know, unfortunately, they're not been able to do the live cooking, which is a shame, but that's why I wanted to create this YouTube channel. so that you can then do it as well. But I will keep going with this as long as I can while we're in this lockdown situation. So I've got an idea for next week already that I want to do. Trialled it the other day and it came out really well. So by now, sesame seeds are nice and toasted, just like that. They don't take long. Okay, just going to put them into my little bowl, ready for later. Turn that off. Is that white?
What's in the frying pan?
In the frying pan is just some sesame seeds that I'm toasting for to go into the rice later. Okay. My rice is not doing too bad now. Run away vegetables today. So your onions and your carrots should now be starting to caramelise, okay? Just slowly getting a little bit of colour on them, and that's what you want really, okay? I said earlier in a post, you're going to need a hand blender for later, so if you want to get that, that would be great. Do that ready. If you want to, say if you're making a big batch of this sauce, if you've got like a food processor, imagine you make something like that, you could blend your carrots and your onions to a crumb, as it were, or a paste, and cook it really down a lot. And then if you've got a big saucepan, you can do a decent amount. So it adapts well to being made into bulk, which is great. Okay.
Max is having trouble with her sesame seeds sticking together. Have you any idea why that might happen?
They are sticking together.
They are sticking together.
Did you use a wet spoon? Did you put any oil in the pan? If you did, I mean, it's not the end of the world if they stick together. They'll soon, once they cool down, they'll go apart, and then you're only going to mix them for the rice later. So don't fret yourself about it.
There shouldn't be oil in the pan, should there? No oil.
No oil in the frying pan for the sesame seeds. So this is as far as I want to take this now, guys. So just like that. So it's just starting to caramelise. Onions are starting to go. They'll always go first because they're thinner. So in here, we're going to add the chilli. Oh, for goodness, what is wrong with me? Garlic and ginger.
No chilli.
There's no chilli. You're right. There is no chilli. I don't know why I didn't have chilli on the bread. Same as last week. Okay, I'm going to add those two ingredients. Okay, so ginger and chilli. Oh,
garlic.
For goodness sake. What's going on? Right. So in the saucepan now, we should just have oil, carrots and onions, ginger and garlic. Okay, and we're just going to cook that garlic and ginger for just 15-20 seconds, just so it starts to become fragrant. Okay, now spices go in next. So one tablespoon of mild curry powder or hotter if you're going for a bit of spice, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. Can't stress that enough because it really will. That can go in. Okay, and we're just going to mix that together just so those flavours just start to infuse. You don't want to burn the spices because then that'll be horrible. You just want to get those natural flavours that come out really nice. Okay, if you're making your own spice mix, you can do, that's absolutely fine. I'm not. Okay, lovely. So now you 400 mils or 1 tin of coconut milk. Yep, I've already just taken one out of the tin, so I'm going to add that now, okay, to the pan. I hope Philan is keeping up. Okay.
Becky just asked if the curry powder gone in. It has.
Yes, just now. So you just want to put the curry powder in just for 15, 20, 30 seconds, something like that, just so you start to smell those wonderful aromas. Okay? Okay, so in there now, that's the coconut milk gone in. And then also going to add 100 mils of just cold water. Okay, the reason I do that is because it just helps keep it loose, because if it goes to the coconut milk and quite thick, if it goes too thick, then it will burn and we don't want that. So you just want to help make sure it stays as a nice liquid. Okay, then we're going to add a couple of teaspoons of honey. Oh, would you look at that? Just literally 2 teaspoons left. I'm going to pop all that in.
Jimsy Duda says, I just got home. Can you start again, please?
You know what? I will. Jimmy, 2 onions, 2 carrots, dice them small, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 inch of ginger, peel that down. In fact, my marketing team can put this in a comment. Ah, look at that. Do you want the recipe? Perfect. So, what we've got in there now in the saucepan, we've got the onions and carrots that have been sweated off and started to caramelise. You've got the garlic and the ginger in there. Add it in once this onion and vegetables start to caramelize, gives a nice bit of aroma, just 30 seconds or so, not too long. Then add your curry spices. Then give them another 30 seconds. Then add your coconut milk, add your water, add your honey. At this stage, I'm going to season it. Okay? Okay? And here, I'm just going to pop it onto sort of a medium heat. Yep. Medium heat. And I'm just going to pop a lid on and let that cook. Okay.
Kieran just got back too.
Aw man, poor Kieran. So, guys, Debbie is going to put a picture coming up to see a rough rundown so far. But again, carrots, onions, chilli, garlic.
No chilli.
Oh, get off. What is going on? Okay, so pork steaks and flour, egg and breadcrumbs. So if you haven't done already now, you're going to season your pork steaks, okay? If you've left them for a little bit, they're beautiful and they've just started to moisten up and get really nice. That's it, Maddie, moisten. Right, so what we're going to do in here, in this little container, we're going to put some flour, okay? 3-4 tablespoons, it's not an exact amount. And what we're going to do is something called paneing, which basically means coating in breadcrumbs. But in order for the breadcrumbs to stick to what you want to pane, you need eggs. And in order for the eggs to stick to everything else, you need to add flour. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the product, the pork or the sweet potato, cauliflower, whatever you're using, and you're going to basically put it through flour, egg and breadcrumbs in that order. Okay? Nice and simple. I'm trying to think what you could use to substitute this if you wanted to make it vegan. You could make it maybe coconut milk. Oh, my rice is done. Perfect. If you guys are using a rice cooker and it switches to warm, turn it off with the lid on. Just turn it off completely. Okay.
Instead of, what can Rachel use instead of egg? Because Imani's allergic to
milk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack 2 eggs in there. You only need about 100-150 ml of milk. Just check. I'm sure you have if the Panko Breadcrumbs doesn't contain egg. I wouldn't think they would, just to be on the safe side. So with the eggs, you're just going to beat them up slightly, or you don't also need to beat it if it's milk. And if you've got Chinese takeaway containers like we have, they're really good for something like this. So just going to beat that up nicely, like so.
Crispy Brass says that you've managed to get a marketing and production team behind him. What a legend.
What can I say? Right, so grab a plate. Go over there. So, flour, egg, breadcrumbs, or milk if you have an allergy. All right?
Marie the Weasel says aquafaba or plants milk for egg as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Substitute.
Chickpea water. Yeah, chickpea water. I tell you what, the person who invented that, absolute genius. Really clever. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do now, we're going to take the pork steaks, going to pop it in the flour. I'm going to come a little bit closer. Okay, I'm going to mix them like that. Okay, it's nice and coated. Okay, just shake off any excess and put it in there. Now, it's really important that you try and have one hand for dry and one hand for wet, which is easier said than done, but try our best. Okay, get the flour on there, lovely. Okay, flip it over in the egg or milk. Okay, and what you want is a nice even coating. See, the egg won't stick to the protein or the vegetable without flour. The flour will generally stick to things, so that's not. Take that out, pop it in the panko. Grab this one, nice evenly around, in the egg. Grab the next one, like so. Toss that in the flour. Now you can't really use this again, guys, so you don't need loads of this stuff, and because no one really wants to eat breaded, eggy, milky, floury breadcrumbs. Okay, like so. All right, and then that we're going to pop onto a plate, and that's the first one ready. Okay, next one. So into the egg, first flour, then egg, then breadcrumbs. Like I said, this is called paneing. Spelled P-A-N-E with a little accent over the E, going that way. I don't know what the technical term is, what the correct term is rather than being technical. Okay, so there we go, I'm going to push that down. I will obviously, as I've been trying to keep up with everything, I will be putting a method up tomorrow, a written one, and obviously my fantastic marketing team will also be getting this on YouTube. Internet providing, well, the internet providing really, if the internet doesn't decide to stop being silly.
Anna Poon doesn't have panko breadcrumbs. Would you suggest something like crushed cornflakes or breadboard?
Yeah, that could work quite well actually. That would work really nice. You just have to be careful when you fry it later. To just be really careful because it's going to colour up. If you want to, and it's only if you want to, if you've got a little frying pan or you've got a wok, definitely put oil in there and you can deep fry them. You'll get a much more even colouring than if you were using a frying pan and shallow frying it. But you could use that instead. But cornflour, but be very gentle, because they will colour up quite quickly. Okay, so last steak. In there, lovely. Okay, nice and evenly coated. Don't be stingy on the coating. Okay, wash my hands now.
Duncan says there's an E acute. Is that for the E line thing?
I'm assuming it's Duncan being smart.
Yeah.
Being very intelligent. Overly intelligent. Great. So we're
The
just going.
sugar puffs suggestion, which was the next one, is not quite so intelligent.
No, that would be awful. You know, I mean, saying that, we did when we were in Japan. I might have alluded to it in my okonomiyaki recipe. That we found that they use Rice Krispies in it, or kind of like a puffed rice. It's not technically Rice Krispies, but they use a puffed rice in it as well. So I mean, even that could work. Okay, right. So guys. What we should have now, we should have rice on, cooking, cooked, if not already, you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, we got some panade pork steaks ready to go. At this stage, chuck your oven on, 160 degrees, about gas mark 3. Okay, and this is where this all important tray is going to come in. Okay, so I'm going to use a tray with a cooling rack on top, like so. Really, really important, yeah? Keep an eye on your sauce. The KATSU sauce, make sure it's not burning, which you shouldn't do. Okay, and the reason we put the lid on, is obviously because you want to cook that carrot. The carrot's what's going to add thickness to it, and if you keep the heat in, it's going to help cook that quicker. Okay, right. So, oven's on, and you want to get a frying pan on, and we're going to get a good glug of vegetable oil. Okay. it's a fairly good glug. And the reason I do this is because the breadcrumbs do soak it up. Much like the pancakes last week, if you were here for that, because they're bready, soaks up all the oil, okay? So really important. So a good glug of oil, you've got your tray, cooling rack inside. And the reason we're going to do this is because what I found was when I did this is that as soon as you put them in the tray, the bottom side is not getting a nice convection of air underneath it. So you get a soggy bottom. And I don't like soggy bottoms. It's as simple as that. So cooling rack on there, that way convection of air comes underneath, really nice, beautiful, and that way you've got a nice, even, crisp bottom. Crispy bottom's what we like. So, oil's on, okay, getting nice and hot, sauce is bubbling away nicely. Don't forget you'll need your hand blender soon. Okay, probably got another 8 to 10 minutes out on them. Okay, and then we're going to add the final ingredient, blitz. Rice is done, we're going to finish that in a minute. Okay, how's everybody doing? Please, if you want any more questions, you want to know how much more curry powder goes in the sauce, ask away. I'm happy to help, that's what I'm here for, that's why I enjoy doing this, live cookings, and seeing your results. That's honestly, guys, is my highlight. I love seeing the results. Okay. Nearly there. Not quite far. Really important, guys, when we're going to do this, especially when you're working with this kind of thing, is do really be very, very careful, okay? This is hot oil, it will burn you, and it's really important is when you're placing things in, I'm going to put it in and I'm going to place it away from me like that, okay? You can use tongs if you feel more comfortable. I'm happy to just use my hands, but it's really important that you basically pop it in there gently and put it away from you. The reason you do that is that if it gets too hot and you drop it, the oil splashes that way. If it's coming to you, you splash on you, and you ruin your clothes, and I really don't want to do that. No, I've got breadcrumbs all over me. Right, here we go.
So how hot are you looking for it to be, Simon?
You want it to be quite warm. It's hard. You want it about 160 degrees, unless you've got a temperature probe to measure it. But basically, if you put the tip in, if it starts to colour up like fry off straight away, you know you're about right. Okay, so in there, nice and gently. Okay, nice and gently. Again, away from you. Okay. So, I'll show you the last one a bit closer. Like so, we're going to pop it in and away from me very carefully, like so. Yeah, give a little space around. Okay. Right, there we go.
Don't get me.
Come on now, my love. Lovely old grey hair.
Leave my old grey hair alone.
Somebody is asking Darren Wiseman for some vegan veggie dishes.
This sauce can be made vegan if you substitute honey for maple syrup. Good vegan dish. Okay. All right. I'll have a little think. I'll bust out a vegan dish if I have to. I don't mind. Absolutely.
Dan Filan also says, if I get my pudding and sushi rice mixed up, will I end up with a fishy rice pudding?
Did you buy pudding rice now? Well, I don't think it'll be the end of the world. I mean, in the way you're adding the salt and water, so it's not going to be too bad, you know. It will add to the excitement of your meal. It might mean that someone else might be doing the live cooking instead of you, or going shopping instead of you. Alternatively, Amazon Prime, you always you can get what you want there, nice and easily. Okay. So, that's it, my love.
Yeah.
So what you should see now is you're getting a nice even colouring just over there. Okay. I'm going to use my tongs. A bit longer on that one. Oh, that's nearly there. Lovely. Yes, Chris, you can use sweet potato as an option. You just need to make sure that the breadcrumbs you're using are not contain any milk or egg or animal products. Alternatively, you could just toss them into flour That can work quite well.
KATSU golden breadcrumbs.
Sorry?
It will work alright. KATSU golden breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what Becky to get.
Yeah, that's fine. It'll work fine. You just aesthetically, it's not as nice. Okay, but and with golden, because they're already baked, you have to be really careful. So for you, Becky, I would put the oil down lower and get a nice even, so it starts the cooking to get a nice even colouring, because they're already golden, you don't know how far to take them, because you want to start the pork cooking. Okay, that's what you're looking at so far, guys, something like that. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to give that nice about 2 minutes and similar time on the other side. Okay, let's go and look at our rice. Rice is looking, oh man, I absolutely love sushi rice. I could eat that every day.
Rice is life.
Rice is life. I must say, we got Panko Breadcrumbs from Waitrose and on the Ashley Road, and I tell you what, today we tried some other ones from the Chinese supermarket, and they're absolutely lovely. I'm really pleased with them. So there you are. If you're on the Ashley Road. Also, as well, obviously, as most of you know, make sure your oil, whatever's left, leave it on the side, let it cool down. Don't touch it. Okay, so that's when you make accidents burn the top. And these will only take 4 or 5 minutes in the oven. They're not going to take long because the cooking's practically done. You're just finishing them off. Okay? If you're doing cauliflower, I wouldn't fry them. I would put them through the flour, egg and breadcrumbs, and I would bake them for about 10-12 minutes. Sweet potato, I would do the exact same thing like we've done here. Okay?
What if you use aubergine?
Aubergine's a tricky one because it's quite aqueous and very watery, and you have to be careful, because what I would do then is I would double breadcrumb them. So what I mean by that is you put through flour, egg and breadcrumbs, and then do egg and breadcrumbs again. That way you get a nice double coating. It'll make them quite thick, but it basically keeps all that moisture in and helps steam. So here we are, guys. So that's the pork katsu's already rock and roll. On a cooling rack, in a tray, in your oven, 6, 7, 8 minutes. Okay, nice and simple. Ain't got nothing else to do now. Now it's just bringing together. Okay, so
Going back to the veggie option, if you had any sort of vegetables, would you boil them first before you did the pankoing and everything?
I would the sweet potato because it's potato based. It's quite dense. Cauliflower I wouldn't. Aubergine, of course, I wouldn't. I would use that from raw. Okay, and that's it. So now, guys, you see here, it's gone quite thick already. So this won't blend very well. I'm going to add just a teeny bit of water more. Okay. So I do want a little bit thinner than that. That would help it blend. Okay. And by now your carrots should be nice and soft, which they are. So.
Smells good.
Lovely. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to blend it. Right, I'll do my best to not get you, my love.
Okay.
I promise nothing.
Fair enough.
Marie the Weasel should recognise this. We've had this for 8.5 years, and it's done us very well. So, we're going to blend it. If yours has got different speeds on it, start it on a slower speed, about 4, or whatever half of what your biggest one you can do is. Okay. And you'll find as well that the carrot, as you blend it, actually will start to lighten the sauce up. If you're finding that it's not blending very well, you might need to take a bit more water. Okay, I'm going to put just a touch more water in mine, just to help it blend better. Okay, don't worry, we can always adjust the seasoning again afterwards. Again, if you've got NutriBullet, Vitamix, Thermomix, whatever you want, you can use that instead. You don't have to use a hand blender. Right, I'm going to get this up nice and high. Make a mess.
Mandy's asking about the 100 ml of water. You added a little more than that?
Yeah, I did. It kind of depends. I've added more because obviously as it's cooking, it's evaporating and it's removing moisture. And you need a little bit of substance there and sauce to actually help blend it smoothly. If you wanted to, guys, you could strain this through a sieve if you really wanted to. If I was at work, I would because I'd like it smoother. But at home, not.
What consistency would you call that, the sauce? What would you...
kind of like a curry sauce consistency. I have to say.
Thicker than water.
Yeah. It wants to be like, you know, like when you make a gravy on for Sunday lunch or Sunday dinner. It wants to be about that consistency, about a gravy consistency. I mean, it's down to you guys, you know. Have it thinner if you want, have it thicker if you want. You know, it's absolutely fine. This recipe does it's enough for 4 people, but it does easily you'll be able to do it for, you could make it more, and actually it is very well cold, or you can reheat, it will make plenty. So what I'm going to do now, last ingredient that goes in is a lime. Okay, this will just add a lovely, lovely freshness to it. Okay. Spoon. And I find as well with most curry sauces, if not all curry sauces, so much nicer if you make this a day or so in advance, because you get such a lovely flavour and it just builds together. It's like when you're making a chutney. You know, chutney is great when it's cold, but you make a chutney and then eat it 2-3 months down the line. It's absolutely incredible. That's just what you want. Great. So there we are, guys. There's our sauce. Okay. Should be a nice consistency. Kind of like, if not curry sauce, the thickness, kind of like a puree soup consistency. You know, it doesn't want to be so thick that you have to almost quenelle it or, you know, it doesn't ladle. You want it nice. So, there we go. What we're going to do next? Right, rice. So rice should be nice and cooked now. Yours is, mine is, everybody's is. Turn that
Hopefully.
off. Hopefully. Okay. You don't have to use sushi rice. I'm using sushi rice because I love sushi rice. Okay, and I think it goes really well with this. But the most important thing to do when you're doing any of this and you're using a rice cooker is, especially with sushi rice, is allow it, really wash it well. Really wash it well. If you're keen gardeners, save the water. Put it on the plants. Plants love rice water.
Rice water's got a lot of protein in it.
Exactly, that's what we do. With all the sun we've not been getting much rain. Okay, and that's the consistency of the rice. Oh, glass just that. Okay. Yeah, it's nice. It's not clumpy together. It's beautiful. So what we're going to do now is those sesame seeds that we toasted earlier. We're going to put all of them in.
Anna asks, were you using a rice cooker? I think she missed the beginning.
Absolutely. As I've said before, Anna, I don't know how to cook. I can't cook rice. I can cook risotto rice, but normal raw rice, I really struggle for some reason.
You do a nice baked rice.
Yeah, I make a mean baked rice. Let's try this rice, make sure it's cooked.
For normal boiled rice. Can't do.
Can't do. The toasted sesame seeds on that give such a nice, almost toasty flavour. It's going to add a bit more salt.
Have you put the black sesame and the toasted sesame?
Yeah, I mean, the recipe said black or white. If you've got black, just add them. You don't need to toast them. If you've got white, well, much better if you toast them.
What make did you buy a year or so ago, wasn't it?
Rice
Anna
cooker.
says, what make rice cooker?
Ha! I have the Yum Asia Sakura rice cooker. And I must say, it's incredible. I mean, not only does it do all the rice, I think we made natural yogurt in it once, a couple of times.
You make cake in it.
Yeah, we made banana cake in it. You made congee in it as well. If you really wanted to. So, rice is there. Sauce we're just going to leave simmering. Pork will be done now. So, I'm going to get...
Do they need to add salt to their rice?
Yeah, taste it. I mean, it's down to you. Some people like it heavily seasoned, some people don't. You know, it's down to your preference. I always taste it, I always season it. I like it seasoned nice. This is purely for me, but if you want to as well, just for how it makes sure it looks nice on the plate. If you've got a nice wide cup like so, if not, you can just spoon the rice on. I'll show you what I'm going to do in a minute. Okay, in fact, I'll do it now. So what I'm going to do with the cup, just going to pop a little bit of water in it and just empty it out so it's coated in water. Okay, I'm going to take the rice and I'm going to put it in the cup.
Duncan says, shouldn't you salt the rice at the beginning before cooking?
I did, but it doesn't mean that it's not need more seasoning anyway. Okay, so basically what I'm doing, I'm packing that rice in that cup. Okay. Oh, look at that, isn't that cute? That's so nice. Okay, great. So here we are, guys. Sauce, I'm just keeping warm there. Pork katsu, lovely, is out. Okay.
And how did you get the, what did you do first of all with the cup? I missed that.
I just put water in it, literally like this. Just took some water, put it in the cup, run it around and tipped it out. So that way it stops the rice from sticking to the cup. So, katsu curry, all nice and done. Okay, so we're going to take that off. Okay, nice sharp knife. Stop it, you. That's so good.
You could use other meat.
Could do. You could do chicken. Could use lamb, but I think it's a bit fatty. You could do. You could use fish if you wanted to. That'd be quite nice. Okay. So. Rice is on, katsu sauce, put it on next. I don't want to put it all over the pork katsu because it's pointless getting it. Just put as much of this as you want. There we are. So there we have it, guys. Pork katsu curry, sushi rice and katsu sauce. I hope yours has turned out alright and it's as delicious as mine is. I'm sure it will be because you followed the recipe. If you've got any questions, please DM me. I really, really appreciate it again. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been wicked and enjoy your absolutely delicious lunch. Next week, bum bum bum, we're going to do a Japanese steak burger, okay, with a miso cabbage. Alright, so the biggest ingredient I need you to get, if you can, is red miso paste. Okay, if you can't get red, get white, that's absolutely fine. If you can get hold of some miso paste, great. If you can't, then you just won't have any miso. But really try, because it's going to be a steak burger with a fried egg, some nice mushrooms on there, a few veggies, but this miso cabbage is absolutely banging. Okay, with the fried egg on there. So see you guys next week. So don't forget, red miso paste for next week. I'll put the ingredients list up on Monday for your shopping list. Okay, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe to YouTube, that'd be great. And beef pancakes should be on now from last week, and this will go on probably beginning of next week. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers, take care. Bye-bye.